On the 10th of August, the Battle of Colachel was fought in 1741. Not many know or have heard about the war, but its importance in the grander scheme of things cannot be underplayed. It was a victory against invaders which threw out the Dutch from India forever, and Raja Martand Varma should be accredited for the same. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Piyush. And if you're watching us on Facebook, give our page a like. And if you're watching us on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Coming back to the story, in this video I'm going to tell you about the untold victory of Raja Martand Varma that threw out the Dutch from India forever. The Battle of Colachel was fought between the Indian Kingdom of Travancore led by Maharaja Martand Varma and the Dutch East India Company led by Admiral Eustachius de Lannoy. Captain D.P. Ramachandran, retired, of the Colours of Glory Foundation, had once said it was the first time in Indian history that a native army defeated a European force. It was even more unique because an army with firearms lost to an army without one. You see, such was the impact of the war that the Dutch failed to claim their stake on India altogether. After the arrival of the Portuguese in the 15th century, Kerala's trade began expanding to ports of Europe. Around 1730s, the Malabar coastal region was divided among several political powers. Raja Martand Varma was the ruler of the southern kingdom of Travancore and he began extending the boundaries of his kingdom. He successfully conquered neighboring territories, kingdoms and principalities. The Dutch, who had a monopoly over the trade of black pepper, were fuming in anger as Martand Varma's expansionist policy had a huge economic impact on the Dutch East India Company. The Dutch governor Gustav Willem van Imhoff reached Cochin to find a solution. He started forcing other rulers to honor their treaties with the company. He also met Varma personally to warn him about military action against the kingdom of Travancore. Varma, however, refused to bow down to the Dutch and even told Imhoff that he was planning to attack the Netherlands someday. Rattled by this, the Dutch waged a war on the kingdom of Travancore by the end of 1739. The troops were deployed. The war was on and even the Dutch achieved several successes in the beginning. The troops not only forced Travancore forces to retreat from Kollam, but also began marching towards Attingal, Varkala and succeeded in capturing these two strategic assets too. Later, they decided to launch a second campaign against the king. On 26 November 1740, the Dutch employed 2 large ships and 3 sloops to the coast of Colachel. Dutch commander Van Golense a few days later ordered his forces to capture all the ships except the English, which led to a worsening situation for the throne of Travancore. The Dutch intended to capture Padmanabhapuram, the capital of Travancore, and thus chose Colachel to launch the attack. In the month of February 1741, a large Dutch group consisting 7 large ships and many vessels was deployed on the coast of Colachel. The Dutch kept capturing nearby villages and looting and destroying regions under the king Martand Varma, therefore inching towards Padmanabhapuram day by day. While more men were required to control the newly conquered areas, the Dutch government failed to send new troops due to the Java War in Indonesia. Eagerly waiting for a chance, Martand Varma got an opportunity to attack in the wake of the shortage of troops on the Dutch side. Since the army of Travancore didn't have any siege weapons, Varma decided to stop the supplies to the enemy. It helped the Travancore army block the Dutch from all 4 sides. Due to heavy winds, rain and floods at the same time, the Dutch had no dry gunpowder left, which reduced their ammunition capacities. The Dutch were forced to either starve or surrender. Not so surprisingly, they chose the latter. Raja Martand Varma also returned all the weapons to the Dutch soldiers who were ready to join his army. The battle was an amalgamation of bravery, courage, honesty and the victory over the Dutch forces. The victory led to a new start for the king as Dutch lost control over the pepper production. Leaving the battle aside, the legacy of Raja Martand Varma cannot be described in few words as stories of his valor are uncountable.